afternoon.
Sometimes.
Good afternoon, everyone. So good to see everyone today. It certainly feels like spring. Got a nice breeze, sunshine, and it's been a good day so far. I've already played 18 holes of golf and I loved it. It was beautiful, so yay. Any day with Linda to spend on the golf course is a good day. I love that. I know all of you have special hobbies and things that you're doing too. But at this time, we'll go ahead and start the meeting with prayer. Thank you.
Would you stand? And in honor of the fact that I'm done with winter, I trimmed my beard. And I want you to know, we're going to start building flags on Saturday, April the 9th. We'll work every other Saturday until we get into May and we get everything done that we need to get done. We'll 9 to 10. Start at 9. So everybody will be 9 to 10. So mark your calendar. Mara's going to send an email out with the address, Terry, so you can find it. And we'll start on April the 9th. Join me in the spirit of prayer. Eternal God, we give you thanks for the beauty of this day, for the fact that spring is almost upon us. Will be by this time next week. We give you thanks for this club, its work in our community, and as we prepare for another year of doing with the flags, we ask your spirit to be on that project, to energize it. We ask your spirit to be upon our club and all our work, to bless this food that's been brought before us, and to take it to the nourishment of our bodies, and to keep us this day in your peace. In the name of the Christ, amen.
Amen. Thank you. Now we'll enjoy entertainment with Neil and pledge allegiance first. Sorry, I'm just moving forward. So now,
Please join me in honoring our flag.
I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And now we'll enjoy entertainment.
Would most of you know of the Irish eyes are smiling?
Yes. Yes.
He's gonna have the words and I'll play it.
There you go.
And then God bless America. We need that.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, awesome. Yeah.
When the Irish eyes are smiling, it's like a golden stream, and the lilt upon the shining, you will hear the angels sing. When Irish
I can hear you.
happy, all the world seems bright and gay.
They hear you.
When the Irish eyes are smiling, you just see the Lord. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above. From the mountains to the prairies, to the ocean, I will go. Lord bless America, my home sweet home. Lord bless America, my home sweet home.
Good job. Have a seat.
Excellent. At this time, we're going to introduce guests, and we have some special guests with us today that we are so blessed to have. First of all, I'd like to introduce speakers from Patty's Table. Please stand up, introduce yourself.
Not a speaker.
He's a guest.
Yes.
A guest,
He just walked in with flags.
okay. I know we have a speaker, but we have a guest too, correct? Please stand up.
Hi everyone, my name's Ben. I'm from Paso, Texas. Like family member. They call me.
Thank you for coming. Thank you so much. We look forward to seeing you again. We also have a speaker, which we'll introduce in just a couple of minutes when he's ready to bless us with a motivational message of how we can be our best. Excellent. Also, we have two visitors from India that are Rotarians. And I would like for them to come forward, please. We're going to exchange flags. Dr. Park, if you'd like to come forward too. And Rashad is past president of his Rotarian Club in India. He was president 2018 to 2019. And he also like to share a message from your Rotarian Club in India.
Most respectable club of Irving Rotary Club of
Microphone.
Irving. Most respected people of Irving Rotary Club. My brothers and sisters, first of all, I will thank you, everybody, to you for permitting me to allow this club as a visitor from India. I am from India, South India. That means a very small town in our country. I came here for seeing my daughter and grandson, my son-in-law, Mr. Radha. Thank you very much for your time. Welcome.
Thank you. We're so glad that you joined us, and we appreciate all Rotarians all over the world. And okay, this time we're going to have an update with our membership, and we're going to invite Beltran, and we're so glad to see you. We've missed you for several weeks, so it's good to see you.
Thank you. And yes, it's good to be back. We are on our busiest time of the year for events. We just concluded the Irving St. Patrick's 5K this past weekend at the Toyota Music Factory, where we had about 754 participants sign up. It turned out to be a great morning for running. Participants got to go around the lake, Carolyn, and some of the different areas, and we're getting ready for the Irving Marathon now, which is our 10-year anniversary on April 2nd. We have, as of this morning, we have 1,870 people already registered for this. So it's going to be a really good. For the marathon distance, we only have spots for about 30 more people because already we have over 450 people registered for that distance alone. So those are people who are going to be looking to qualify for the Boston Marathon. So it's going to be a lot of work going on here the next couple weeks being there. But we have a team of about 7 people that are working behind the scenes to make this happen. So we're pretty excited to be ready to welcome this participants. But nonetheless, we're here. On your hand or on your table, I passed out some cards. These are the cards that we've been talking about in the past, that on one side has the direct QR code to take you to the page that Jordan's built. This is our hub where prospective members or yourself can go and view the recordings of this meeting today later on. You're also able to point new prospects to fill out an application there so that they can provide information, and then we can submit that to Club Runner once they become members. You also have on the other side of the card a QR code that is going to take you directly to ordering the flags. So if you're out having dinner with a friend or you see your neighbor walking by and you want them to have a flag and you've been talking about the flag program but you don't know how to get them signed up, just take out the card, have it scan the QR code of the card, and then it will take them directly to the order form so they can place the order, and then we're able to do that. If you guys run out of these cards or you guys want some changes made to the second version of it, please let me know and we'll try to order more. For now, we're gonna provide about 20 cards to every club member. And again, once you need more, just let us know and we'll have more available so that we can pass it out. And again, that's how we grow our flag program. That's how we grow our membership. Jordan has, again, built all those channels in the background. So we have a hub, we have everything. Now, this is how we bring people in for the flag program and also for prospective members as well. That's the update that I have for membership. We do have 3 members that are waiting to be admitted and submit their information to Club Runners. So that's exciting, and we keep growing, and there's going to be more people to come as we are seeing some people coming in as well. So, but without further ado, I would like to introduce our guest today. He's no stranger to the club. He's been here in the past, and I think we really enjoyed listening to him and some of the advice that he had at the previous meeting that we had. So, JC is with JC Advisory Group, and the message that he has today is, are you a leader worth following? So we're pretty excited to hear him speak. He comes from an entrepreneurial family that, as he mentioned, started a new business almost every 3 years, and he's going to explain that. So, but I'll let him be the one that talks about the message today. So, JC, you want to come join us? And let's give JC a welcome, guys.
It is great to be with you once again. I was here last year, and from a Rotary standpoint, I was, last year was about my 6th or 7th Rotary presentation. And since I was with you, I'm almost up to, I think, somewhere in the neighborhood of 30 now. And so it's a lot of fun. Being a Marine, there's nothing better than the Pledge of Allegiance and then also prayer midday. So that is an awesome thing. Hopefully we'll never take that for granted because I absolutely love it. Last time I was with you, I spoke about support challenge and your circles of influence. You may or may not remember that. You've slept since then, so you probably don't remember that. However, my topic today is akin to the topic that I had last time I was here, which is, are you a leader worth following? And so as we think about, are you a leader worth following, I'm going to touch on communication today and the importance of communication, how communication really propels your influence. John Maxwell told us that leadership is influence. And so whether you're a parent, whether you're a grandparent, a boss, a former boss, you influence people. In fact, you influence people here at the Las Colinas Rotary Club, whether you like it or not. And so that's why influence is important, and understanding communication, the power of communication, is extremely important as well. So I appreciate Jordan's effort to work the slide. So I'm bringing up a car here, pretty fancy car, right? When I learned how to drive, I learned how to drive on this specific car. I think it's a Lamborghini. That was my first car when I was 16. It wasn't my first car when I was 16. How many of you remember the car that you learned how to drive in. Okay, Linda, what kind of car was it?
It was an avocado green four-door Chevrolet Impala that had 0 power steering, 0 air conditioning, and it was like a tank.
Yeah, right, perfect. So it was a tank. Was it automatic or was it standard?
It was automatic.
It was automatic. Okay, anybody start off with a standard? Yep, I did as well. So standard, what kind of standard did you have? There way in the back in the tan shirt. Yes, sir. 37? 37 Chevrolet, 4 on the floor. All right, perfect. Next slide. So the car that I really started my driving in was sort of the same color as the first car that I showed you, but a little different. It was a Volkswagen Beetle. And this Beetle, yeah, Beetle fan in the back? All right, I like it. Great. So this Beetle that I started my driving prowess in had a really bad clutch. And the problem with a bad clutch is sometimes it would engage and sometimes it wouldn't engage. And so in the mornings when I'd go to school, I probably would grind about 2 pounds of clutch on the way to school, just because it engaged and sometimes it didn't. So every time that happened, I got this big giant jolt. And my friends that I pick up every once in a while, because when you have a car, right, you pick up friends, would also get whiplash too. And so we're going to talk a little bit about gears. And we're going to talk about the importance of gears. So as we look at this particular stick shift, there's 5 gears and then there's a reverse. And that's pertinent for the message this afternoon that I'm going to share with you and how that plays in communication. So the next tool that we have is called the 5 gears, right? So let me talk a little bit about the 5 gears. The 5 gears are what we do day in and day out, okay? And let's start with the 5th gear. 5th gear is focus mode, like it says. Man, we are working on a project. We don't want to be disturbed, and we are in the zone. And if we look at 4th gear is more task mode. So if the phone rings, we pick it up. If we're working on something, we stop. If somebody comes into our office or into our room, we engage them, okay? 3rd gear is more social mode, right? So we're present with people, but we can kind of jump into 4th gear or 3rd gear or even 2nd gear. We're pretty flexible. 2nd gear is more connect mode, right? We're talking to family, we're talking to colleagues at work, we're being more social. So we're not bothered by a lot. 1st gear is recharge mode, right? Some of you like to go fishing, some of you like to collect cars, some of you like to collect kids, some of you like to collect rocks. I don't know. But the fact of the matter is, 1st gear is incredibly important, or life gets pretty dull pretty fast. Linda threw down 18 holes this morning, right? So she was in what gear? 1st gear, right? Recharging it. And then the tough gear, which is reverse. Why is reverse so difficult? Well, sometimes in reverse, we have to walk things back. We have to apologize. We have to take back what we said. So if you utilize this 5 gears model, okay, you know good and well, and you've experienced this before in your life, that if you're in 5th gear, completely and totally immersed, focused, doing that which you need to do at the time, and you need to apologize to somebody, it kind of sounds something like this. Hey, I'm sorry about that. Sorry about that. That never happened. Right? Did that feel like an apology? No, right? So if we're in the car and we try to take the car from 5th gear to reverse, what's going to happen to the transmission? It's not going to be good, right? It's the same thing with relationships and your circles of influence. Whether it's yourself and apologizing to yourself, or whether it's family or a group of individuals or organization like this one, or the community at large. If you're in 5th year, it's going to be very difficult to transition into reverse. In fact, I would say to you that it's going to be very difficult to submit and put the car in 1st year, 2nd year, or even 3rd year, right? It's easier to go from, say, 5th to 4th, or 2nd to 1st, but it's very difficult to jump gears. And if we're not careful and we're not intentional, that's what's going to happen. We're going to send the wrong signal, we're going to disappoint people, and people are going to figure, well, that apology really wasn't sincere. And that individual may have an ulterior motive. So I'll pause there for a second and ask you, have you ever attempted to go from 5th year to, let's go back one, Jordan, let's stay on the years for a second. Have you ever attempted to go from 4th or 5th year into reverse? Just to kind of get it out of the way? Yeah, and what was the net result? What happens when you do that? Doesn't work, right? It's difficult, okay? And so how often do we not want to get into reverse? How often do we think, no, that's okay, you know, next time I see the individual, I'll, you know, say I'm sorry or whatever, if the opportunity comes, or we just sort of dismiss it. But the other individual that feels offended or feels like they were dismissed doesn't forget, right? That could happen even within your circle of influence within this club. So we have to be careful because we're constantly leading, which means, like I mentioned at the beginning, we are constantly influencing because leadership is influence. Okay, so those are the 5 years, and I was grateful that I was able to relive sort of when I started driving many years ago. But the premise and the analogy are pretty fitting, right? If you look at those 5 years and then reverse. All right, next slide. This next tool is a tool that really just talks about communication and the 5 communication keys. Okay, so as you can tell at the top, there's a little dish for transmitting and then a little dish for receiving. So whenever we're communicating, there needs to be somebody speaking and somebody listening, kind of like right now, right? Maybe 30% of you are listening and the rest are. No, it's probably higher than that, right? But if somebody's giving you a message, there needs to be somebody that is accepting the message, right? So let's talk about these clues here. The first one is called critique. Critique my work. Ask for difficult questions, right? Tell me why it won't work. So if you're sending an email or you're sending a text and you're not clear to somebody whether you're expecting their critique, you ever get critiqued back when you weren't soliciting it? Yeah, I know I have before. I've sent an email and somebody will respond back with 5 or 6 different suggestions. And I'm like, I was even asking for your opinion, right? The next one is to collaborate, right? If we collaborate, what ends up happening is we build something together. But if we don't tell somebody that we're looking for collaboration, they may not collaborate. And so what do we think when that happens? Just go ahead and shout it out. They don't care, right? They're like, man, I was hoping they would give you some ideas or some advice or thoughts or comments, but they're not saying anything. I don't even know if they read the email, right? All right, the next one is clarify, okay? Checking with somebody that they understand what you've said, right? Because otherwise, you're making assumptions. The next one is care, right? Create a safe spot. Don't try to solve me. You ever hear this before? Hey, man, I'm not looking for the answer. I just want to be heard. Right? And some of you men in the room, including myself, which are generally solvers, have heard that before, right? Don't tell me how to build it. I just want you to know what happened. That's all. And then lastly is celebrating, right? Celebrate success with me. Enjoy the moment and celebrate, the achievement of whatever we did. So in essence, what this tool reminds us to do is to make sure that we're intentional. I spoke about intentionality before. A lot of us go through life being accidental, but we want to be intentional with not only our communication, but also what we're meaning in the communication. So for example, if you send out an email, you want to make sure that if you are looking for a critique, you tell the person, hey, I want your opinion on this. Not assume or not think that somebody's just going to give you their opinion. Conversely, if you look at the opposite of that, say you're looking at clarifying, right? If you're looking at clarifying, just making sure that they understand what you said, not necessarily critiquing what you said, is important. Okay? I'll hit the pause button there for just a second as I wrap up these thoughts for any points of clarity to make sure that I was clear today in my communication, both with the gears and also with these 5 clues that we can utilize to make sure that our communication is being received in the way that it was sent. So this is the point in the presentation where you can ask a question. Yes, ma'am.
In the future, if you can make it bigger, because we can't read those. Oh, yes, thank you very much.
Ask and you shall receive. Jordan, thank you.
Clarify.
Clarify. Very good. Yeah. And also, if you're interested in these 2 slides, you're welcome, Jordan. You're welcome to send anybody who wants them. It's not a problem at all, just to kind of remind us. Okay. What else?
Well, I think we all enjoy celebrating with success. That's probably the goal we all search for and desire.
Right, Linda mentioned for those on the broadcast that we all enjoy success, right? Celebrating success, and that's important. But how many times have we actually sent a communication out and not made it celebratory, right? Not held back and not made sure that people understood that you're actually excited about something, right? Or maybe you send out a celebratory communication and they respond with a critique, right? And you're like, whoa, I was just celebrating. It's okay. All right. So the guest for today, you mentioned you're from El Paso. What high school did you go to? Oh, yeah. I went to Sleda. Yeah, Sleda.
Oh, brothers.
Yeah, exactly. Well, yeah, 2 different districts, but yeah. 2 very prestigious high schools in El Paso. But anyway, any other questions or thoughts or comments?
Do you think that as individuals, we operate in one of the 5 mainly? Do we have to struggle to get to the other ones?
Great, so George's question was, do we operate in all 5 or do we struggle to kind of jump from one or the other? Unfortunately, we typically accidentally operate in all of the 5. So the idea is that we're intentional about where we want to be and where we want to land. So who are we trying to influence and how are we trying to influence them? Yeah, I work with individuals, teams, and organizations in performance. That's what I do. So performance psychology is what I do every single day. And inevitably, assumptions are made in communication all the time. Either the communication wasn't clear, or somebody thought they were asking for collaboration when they wanted care. Or maybe they thought they wanted to celebrate and somebody throws back a guarantee. And there's confusion all over the board, especially in leadership positions, senior leadership positions. Did that answer? Okay, great. All right. No other questions? All right, go ahead and the next one. That's all, folks. That's all I have. As Forrest Gump would say, and that's all about that, right? We'll go back to you.
Thank you so much. It's always good to be reminded of different units, chapters in our life, and I always encourage everyone to enjoy the moment and celebrate, because tomorrow it may be different, but celebrate today and enjoy your success. Well, it's lovely to see so much green. Happy St. Patty's Day, everyone. We don't have any Irish beer to share, but I bet they have it over in the lounge. So enjoy your day, and we're going to have announcements. Any announcements from anyone that you would like to share?
I might mention that we're putting out a third reminder for flags. And we have about 18 people that have weird emails, so they're coming back. They didn't get them. So I'm making phone calls. If you'd like to make some phone calls, I'll be happy to share.
Excellent. I'm sure everyone would like to help you. I'm sure everyone will take some names, because we're all about being a team, right? And as your leader, I will gladly call you.
I'll
Thank
send
you.
them to you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yes, sir.
Can you bring, next week, a list of people that we need to contact on several pages? Because I've always got to, contact people.
Right.
Could split those up and get that done?
Yes, I'm trying to turn it all from red, because they come back as red, and my printer doesn't print red very well. I mean, I've tried. I'm trying to turn it back to black, but I don't know how to do that. And Rick isn't here. It's his website. He's there. Oh, hi.
Rick is here. Rick is listening. Rick, you need help.
Always.
Anything else?
No, I will bring some.
Well, I did receive a letter from Mike, our seasoned coach, and unfortunately for us, he's moving, but I know it's a celebration with his family, that him and his wife are getting closer to children, grandchildren. So he will be with us next Thursday. So we're going to make it an honorary meeting to share our love and have an opportunity to share some highlights from knowing Mike and his fellowship with the club and the city. So we're going to celebrate with you, Mike, even though we are sad, but we wish you much success. And so that will be next Thursday. Thank you, Mike, for coming next Thursday. Okay, we're going to end with the four-way test. Dr. Parr, please.
Sure, please join me in the four-way test of things to think, say, or do. First, is it true? Second, is it true? Third,